Hello, I'm Daniel.
I'm Santiago.
And I'm Gannon.
Today marks the start of something great. Our product will be released into the world, helping make sure people wake up on time. When we were doing research, we decided to look into problems that we have in our own daily lives. One of those major problems comes from sleeping too long. We dove deeper into this problem and found that there's a real problem for people around the world. This led us to our problem statement, which is, according to the American Sleep Association, long sleeping has been found in approximately 2% of the population, with men at slightly higher rates of having it than women. Long sleeping is an uncommon sleeping finding or disorder characterized by the body's inclination to remain asleep for long periods of time that would otherwise be deemed typical. This often results in 10 to 12 hours of sleep each night for people with the disorder. Less than that leaves them feeling unrefreshed and sleepy throughout the day. And for the people who it affects, it can cause anxiety, low energy, and memory problems.
According to Rosie Osman, writer for the AmeriSleep.com website, she lists the effects of oversleeping. Osman states several trends emerge linking oversleeping with higher rates of mortality and disease, as well as things such as depression. Research links longer sleep habits with cognitive impairment, depression, increased inflammation, increased pain, and impaired fertility, higher risk of diabetes, higher risk of obesity, higher risk of heart disease, higher risk of stroke, and higher all-cause mortality. Not only is time being lost, but higher health risks are at hand and result of oversleeping and hitting the snooze button on the alarm clock. In addition, she goes into depth with these risks, individually providing the statistics. For instance, she states researchers linked both short and long sleep with a higher risk of coronary heart disease and stroke. The study found that people sleeping more than 8 hours per night were twice as likely to have angina, a chest pain caused by reduced blood flow, and 10% more likely to have coronary heart disease. An analysis of data from the Nurses' Health Study, which involved more than 71,000 middle-aged women, also found connections between sleep length and heart health. Compared to normal 8-hour sleepers, women sleeping 9 to 11 hours per night were 38% more likely to have coronary heart disease. It is important to receive the ideal amount of sleep of 7 to 9 hours, not only to be on time for important necessities, but furthermore to prevent serious health risks that can occur from wanting to get an extra hour of sleep. Further in-depth analysis of each health risk and its relation with oversleeping can be found in Osman's article.
Students that attend regular classes in which they need to attend at a certain time almost always use an alarm clock. Because of this, they sometimes tend to hit that snooze button one too many times and can miss the memo and completely oversleep. This is important for students because it can lead them to not being on time to their classes, but also have many other adverse effects that can impact their academic and social life. A student's academic life can be ruined by excessive sleeping caused by oversleep, or they themselves choosing to oversleep. People who sleep excessively tend to be more likely to report lesser mental health than those who sleep the recommended 8 hours. These mental effects can lead to things like depression, worsened anxiety, and many people who go to sleep to forget about their stress usually wake up more stressed, which is very counterproductive. Many people who oversleep tend to think that the more sleep the better, but this is not a true statement. According to sleepadvisor.org, sleep is a powerful aid to learn, process information, and increase memory. However, too much of it can have the opposite effect. The Luminosity brain training platform is an objective and fun way to measure cognitive abilities. Researchers found that those who slept 7 hours performed the best on their tests. This shows that when students begin to sleep too much, they can be affected negatively when they do arrive for school. With lots of talk focusing on purely the mental and physical impacts of oversleeping on people in general, it's time to focus on the students and their academics. Most schools in the United States tend to begin early in the morning, and this is the most common time for people to miss their alarm clock or lay on for 2 more minutes. And this can have a direct impact on their academic and social life. Students' grades depend on them being there in class to learn the lecture, go home, do their work. Most need to take notes, ask questions, and do other practice to become familiar with how to properly do things. And if students are not in class to learn, they're missing a large portion of their school days. Also, with many schools moving over to the block schedule, which splits the classes into separate days, 4 classes each day, alternating every day. Students who oversleep not only miss information from one class, but if they aren't waking up on time every day, they're missing 2 classes.
When conducting our own research towards the problem, we asked high schoolers questions about their sleeping through an online survey. When looking at the data, the most efficient way to analyze the data was to look at the answers in a pie chart. This method was needed to show the percentage of people who answered each question. Then we can compare the sizes of the circle parts with each other to see which answer was most used. The pie chart was also a very simple visual to look at and understand.
This graph shows that 86.7% of respondents wake up past their intended time at least once. Over half wake up late more than twice per week, and 1/4 wake up more than 3 times per week. From the data, it can be implied that many students are waking up late to get to school, putting them behind schedule and potentially even coming in late to school. This graph shows that over half of respondents hit the snooze button at least twice, with only 20% saying 0 and 26.7% saying once. However, over 40% say that they hit at least once, and 20% say they hit it 4 times on average. From the data, it can be implied that most students are hitting the snooze button multiple times in the morning and falling back asleep.
This graph shows that 66.7% of respondents say that oversleeping does not affect their ability to function at school with scores between 1 and 3. However, there's a 1/3 of respondents who say oversleeping tremendously affects their ability to function at school with scores between 5 and 7. From the data, it can be implied that there is 1/3 of students who are not able to function at school very well when they oversleep past their alarm clock. There are many ways for people to wake up in this day and age. There are digital alarm clocks, phones, natural ways, etc. However, there are some products that already incorporate the water aspect in the alarm clock. The first product is called the Badal water-powered clock. The clock runs completely on water power, no batteries or electricity, meaning that once it's filled up with tap water, it'll last for 8 to 12 weeks before needing to be refilled again. Reviewers have said that they like the weird and funky design and incorporation of water power. However, they do not like that there's no snooze button and that it is very quiet when the alarm goes off. The second product is called the water spraying alarm clock. This product is very similar to what our solution is trying to accomplish. It incorporates an alarm clock body, a water spraying device, and a controller, wherein the water spraying device is arranged in the alarm clock body and the controller is used for controlling the water spraying device. The product also has a patent to go along with it, but despite the designs and patents, the developer didn't get the needed money on Indiegogo, and so I believe the product was never developed further. This leaves room for a new and better solution to come into place.
When we were coming up with solutions to the problems, we had decided to pursue 3 different alarm clock ideas. The first solution was where the alarm clock got louder each time the snooze button was pushed. The second was an alarm clock that sprayed water when the alarm went off. The last being where you had to stand up on a pressure pad to turn off the alarm clock. Out of these solutions, we developed a decision matrix to see which one was best. The solution that we chose to be the best for our situation was the water spraying alarm clock. This alarm clock has a very compact design with a 6x5x4 dimension, allowing it to be easily movable. This alarm clock system has a unique form of waking up a sleeper. To set up the alarm, the buttons on the right of the clock can be pressed to a desired time. The system also includes a 5-minute reminder of the alarm to ensure you wake up on time. When the alarm clock first goes off, the sound will play at a normal level until the snooze button is hit. However, the snooze only lasts for 30 seconds. Once the snooze expires, a small water shooter is activated and sprays a stream of water on the sleeper until it runs out of water. To stop the spray, the sleeper must turn off the alarm. It is powered by AA batteries on the back so that no cords are needed. Ideally, it would use a lightweight but durable metallic material, but due to cost, it will most likely need plastic parts to encompass the electronic components. The electrical components that are needed include batteries, buttons, 7-segment displays or an LED screen, Arduinos, wires, and a battery adapter. Our solution differs from the previously mentioned solutions for many reasons. First, it will have an adjustable distance button to control how far it will shoot. Secondly, it will be in a much more modern and portable design than the fan. Lastly, the water shooter will be constant instead of on intervals to ensure that the person wakes up on time.
There were many areas of the project that we had to research and figure out ways to accomplish it. The first area was figuring out the electronics and how to make things work. The electronic pieces that we had to figure out how to code were the DS3121 real-time clock module, the 12C LCD display, and the water motor. Being able to code these modules took a lot of work to download the needed files and find examples on the Arduino Hub. After many hours and days of work, a working prototype was discovered. The second area was figuring out how to put all the pieces into tight, compact cardboard boxes separated the water from the electronics. In order to stay on task with the project, we had to stay on track with our Gantt chart. We were able to follow these dates for the most part, but many challenges were encountered that took some areas of the project to take longer. This was mostly from the prototyping.
So this is our final product. We have some buttons here to control the time and stuff. We have our display to show the time and the alarm and all that. Here's our water spout where the water will shoot out, and this is our water storage tank. And then we have our power part where you can plug our battery system into. And then, so with this setup, you can see the inside. I blocked off this section with the slab of cardboard to keep the water out, because that's where our motor is back there. I can't really get to it because this is like glued in there, but it should be fine. And then we have our LCD screen right here, the Arduino, and we have our real-time clock right there. And this little circuit board there is our LS293, which is like to help control the circuit and all the motor and all that. And then the wire coming from the black wire connects to the LS23 to set up the motor and power, and the rest of it controls setting up the time and controlling the LCD. So this is what the display looks like when we power it up. It shows the hour, the alarm, the day, and the date. So this button right here controls setting it up. So set the time. The current time is 7:15. So we'll click this one to raise it up, set it up to 7, and then we'll shift to the next one, minutes. We'll do 15. There we go. Then we set the year. So obviously it's going to be 2020. There we go. And then we'll set the month, and it's May, so we'll do 5. And the day is the 20th, so we'll do 20. And now to set our alarm, we can do 7:16. Oop, too far. It's a bit janky with the buttons. Alright, there we go. Set it all up. And there we go. Wednesday, May 5th, 2020. The hour is 7:15, and turn the alarm on, you push this button. So the alarm is set for 7:16. Next, I'll demonstrate what the water shooting out looks like. So when doing this project, when we're doing the prototyping, it actually worked at one point, but then I'm pretty sure this integrated circuit broke somehow because it wasn't powering the motor anymore. But I tested out the motor and all that, and it still worked. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you what's supposed to happen when the alarm goes off, but I'll just have to power the motor by itself because it doesn't actually work. And the other problem is, since this motor is like gravity fed, when water is plugged in there, it tends to leak out of here. So we have to plug it up so that the water doesn't shoot out, like leak out before it sprays. So it's going to go off in 3, 2, 1. So it's supposed to go off and it's going to blink the lights. And then we'll power the motor up. See, it's leaking. And then we'll power it up. And it's just supposed to spray water out until the water goes out. With our current setup, there are many limitations that came from our project. First off, the design of the box is not very elegant or nice to look at. With only having limited supplies at home, it was hard to make the final design look good. Secondly, the LCD screen is very small and hard to read from far away. Really small. It also has to scroll in order to show all the needed information. A larger LCD screen would have been more useful for this project, but they are also more expensive. Third, the wires come out very easily in this design because the breadboard is not in the final product. This also causes the results to vary and not be very accurate. Also, the power of the motor is directly proportional to the voltage of the batteries. If there was a way to get a stronger battery, then the water would be very able to spray farther also. Due to the limited supplies I had at my house, the only tube that would fit was not small enough to produce the needed distance that was originally designed for. It's a pretty big hole. Lastly, since our motor was not able to suck up the water, only shoot it out, this meant that the water had to be above the motor itself, so the water could be gravity fed into the motor. This caused a major problem, though, as water began to leak out of the hose. We solved this project by having to stick an object to block the water coming out of the hose. This product succeeded in many areas, but it also lacked in some other areas. First off, the product worked very well as it was able to spray the water as the alarm was going off. Our main goal with this product was to be able to wake people up on time at the right time.
Dude. It works.
From our testing demonstration, it is very clear that any person with an alarm clock is destined to wake up on time. Secondly, the actual alarm clock itself worked too. It was able to be set at the right time, and you can choose a time for the alarm clock to go off as well. However, this is also where our design started to fail as accomplishing our goals. Our coding was not able to incorporate a snooze function into the button, so the water just sprayed whenever the alarm went off. Even though this may help people get up at some time, it can be very annoying to be consistently woken up at cold water. Also, we were not able to calibrate the interval distancing for the water. In order for this product to make it further into development, a lot more testing and prototyping will be required. We will need to change the cardboard parts out for more plastic ones. We'll need to incorporate a permanent circuit board so that the product can be smaller and more portable. A larger display will also be added so that people will be able to better be able to read the screen. A snooze button will also be added so that it'll meet our original goals with the product. Also, we will be doing more testing with distancing and voltage charges for people to adjust the distance needed for them. We will also need to find a better storage container for the water so that it is more practical and less likely to leak. With 3D printing, this design can be much more fleshed out and better looking. Overall, this project was a great team building exercise and allowed for each of us to learn something important in teamwork. Even though our product didn't work entirely how it was meant to, it was still a fun project being able to overcome any challenges that came up and do the research needed to figure out how to code certain parts of the design. With future improvements to the design and necessary resources to do so, this product could definitely help you wake up on time and not be late to class anymore. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful summer break.